Dolly friends, and welcome to the second part of Toodles and Friends Vintage Doll series. In the description below, I have included the link to part 1 if you are interested in checking it out. We are so happy you have joined us for the second part of the Toodles and Friends Vintage Doll series. As our regular viewers know well, we enjoy collecting all kinds of different dolls, and we are so excited to finally showcase some of our vintage dolls with you. In our Toodles and Friends Vintage Doll series, we are showcasing a couple of different dolls each week. Plus, we share the names we have chosen for them. Each of these vintage beauties have their own distinct personalities, so make sure you stick around until the end of the video because we finish it with some fun dolly roleplay. I love American vintage dolls, especially those that are made by the Ideal Toy Company. I can't explain exactly why I love vintage dolls or this doll brand so much, other than there is something magical about them that tugs at my heart. In the vintage era, in Australia, we didn't have a lot of access to American dolls other than Barbie dolls, so it's been challenging as a collector. The delivery cost from the US is expensive, and sometimes I pay just as much for shipping as I do for a doll, but I feel like it's definitely worth it. In this week's video, we are showcasing some of our American vintage dolls from the Ideal Toy Company from the 1950s and 60s era. Today I'm going to start with our Kissy doll. She was created by the Ideal Toy Company in 1961, and I actually have her original outfit. She's in a lovely dress with bonnet at the moment, but I'm going to now get her changed into her original clothes so you can see it. So here is my Kissy doll in her original outfit. And I purchased this doll actually from an Australian collector. I was very lucky to actually find this doll here in Australia. So this collector had purchased this doll from a doll show. Now she's dressed in her original outfit, but I don't believe the shoes are original because from my research, what's come up is that she actually had a red pair of shoes. Although the previous owner seems to think the shoes were original, I don't think they are. And I'm now going to show you how her cute Kissy mechanism works. So when you gently squeeze Kissy's arms together, she puckers her lips and she gives a loud sweet kiss. Now my Kissy doll doesn't make the little squeaking sound when she kisses, but she still puckers her lips together. So I'll just give you a demonstration. Can you see how she puckers her lips together and blows a kiss? Very, very cute. This is a little close-up of her outfit. It's this really sweet gingham red outfit, and it's like an all-in-one. And as I said, these are the shoes that I don't think are original. She had sort of like a little pair of red Mary Jane shoes. So super cute. The Kissy doll was made by the Ideal Toy Company, which was founded in 1907. And after World War II, the Ideal Toy Company became the largest doll-making company in the US. Their most popular dolls included Betsy Wetsy, Tony, Saucy Walker, Shirley Temple, Miss Revlon, Patty Playpal, Tammy, Thumbelina, Tiny Thumbelina, and Chrissy. Their last big toy was the famous Rubik's Cube back in the 1980s. In 1951, the Ideal Toy Company partnered with its competitor, the American Character Doll Company, and the Alexander Doll Company to establish the US and Israeli Toy and Plastic Corporation to produce toys in Israel and the US. In 1968, when the American Character Doll Company filed for bankruptcy, the Ideal Toy Company acquired their dies, patents, trademarks, as well as products like the Tressie Grow Hair doll. From the 1980s onwards, the Ideal Toy Company was involved in a series of mergers and takeovers. In 1989, the company was bought by Tyco Toys, and then it merged with Tyco Toys to Mattel in 1997. The UK assets were sold to Hasbro. The Ideal trademarks and most toy molds not purchased by Hasbro or Mattel were purchased by Jay Horowitz of American Plastic Equipment, who later transferred the rights to the American Classic Toys. Horowitz licensed the trademark and toys to Plaza Toys and then sold the rights in 2011 to Puff Slinky. In 2014, the Ideal brand and rights became part of a new company called Alex Brands, and in 2019, Jay Horowitz of American Classic Toys entered into an exclusive license agreement to represent the Ideal brand that were not included in the sale of Puff Slinky. As I have explained in my videos before, in the doll industry, there is a history of intellectual property exchange deals made between companies, which is why the F and C words should not be assumed and carelessly used in the doll community. Just because a doll looks similar or exactly like another doll on the market, it does not automatically mean that it's been copied or that it's a fake. When companies like the Ideal Toy Company have merged or sold their licenses, their intellectual property rights transfer to other parent companies, giving them the rights to manufacture their dolls. Now, my Kissy is one of the original Kissy dolls. There were actually 5 versions of the Kissy doll made between 1961 to 1968. 4 versions had the same kissing feature, but the cuddly Kissy doll was different. The first Kissy doll that was released in 1961 was available until 1964. She is 22.5 inches tall and originally wore a red and white gingham dress like the one that you see here with red Mary Jane shoes. Marked on her head is Ideal Toy Corp K21L, and on the back Ideal Toy Corp K22 patent pending, and I'll show you that shortly. The second Kissy doll was called Tiny Kissy and was released in 1963 and was manufactured until 1968. She looked almost identical to the original Kissy doll, but she was only 16 inches tall. Marked on her head, Ideal Toy Corp K16-1, and the same markings with the last digit 2 on her back. In 1963, Ideal released another Kissy doll called the Kissy Baby Doll. This doll was only produced for 1 year and was the baby version of the original Kissy. She's 22 inches, vinyl head, body and arms. She has cute bowed legs that prevent her from being able to stand, and marked on her head is Ideal Corp K21L1, and on the back Ideal Toy Corp K22 US PAT number 3054215. The next version was called Cuddly Kissy. She was produced for only 1 year and had bowed legs which prevented her from standing. She was 16 inches tall. She has a vinyl head, arms and a soft cloth body, rooted blonde hair and sleepy eyes. To activate her kissing features, you squeeze her tummy, which draws her hands together to activate the kissing sound. In 1966, Ideal changed the look of Tiny Kissy. This version has long, straight auburn hair that parts to the side, and her original outfit is an orange and yellow A-line dress. Now, this little lady, we've named her Poppy, and although she is one of the sweetest, most loving little girls in our nursery, she cannot help but get herself into lots of trouble. Everyone loves to baby Poppy because she has such a sweet personality, so they tend to overlook her troublemaking flaws. She always gets herself into some kind of little pickle. So make sure you stick around until the end of this video for some fun dolly role play, because you will see Poppy land herself in some trouble. We have another small doll that we want our viewers to meet. This is Scarlett, our Saucy Walker. Saucy Walker dolls were made in the US by the Ideal Toy Company in the 1950s. Around the same time, Pedigree dolls were made in England. They actually look very similar. I'm going to pop a picture up on the screen now. These dolls were not readily available in Australia, as most little girls were given Pedigree or Kayder dolls. The Ideal Toy Company made different versions of this doll. The earliest versions, like the one I have, has flirty eyes, an open mouth with teeth showing, and she has a sarin wig. Now, I believe my doll was made pre-1954 because from 1954-55 onwards, the Ideal Toy Company moved across to making their dolls with vinyl heads and rooted hair. When the walking mechanism is activated, the Saucy Walker doll swings her head and eyes back and forth in unison. Very, very saucy indeed. So this little girl is mischievous, has a fiery temper, and is a bit of a bossy boots in our nursery. So I'm now going to show you how the mechanism works. I'm now going to try and show you the walking mechanism where she swings her head back and forth. You can see her eyes swing from side to side, and so does the head. Very saucy indeed. Oh, Scarlett, you're so saucy. She was a very popular doll because you could wash and wave and comb her sarin wig hair. Now, this Saucy Walker doll is made from hard plastic with a pin-jointed body and holes in her tummy for sounds, but not all Saucy Walker dolls were criers. Saucy Walker dolls came in two sizes, 16 and 22 inches, and are marked with either Ideal Doll W16 or Ideal Doll W22 to indicate the doll's height. There were several different hair colours, and their mouths came either closed or in an open mouth style with teeth showing, like my little Scarlett. Occasionally, a Saucy Walker doll is found with sleep eyes, not flirty ones, and there are several theories why this may be. The Ideal Toy Company actually made different versions of this doll. The earlier versions, like this one, have flirty eyes, an open mouth with teeth, and a sarin wig. I believe my doll was made pre-1954 because from 1954-55 onwards, the Ideal Toy Company moved across to making dolls with vinyl heads and rooted hair. So as typically in the doll manufacturing industry, where copies are very common, the Saucy Walker doll was also copied by other companies, and here is a photo of a clone Saucy Walker doll. Saucy also had other family members. Saucy's little sister is called the Lolly doll. A boy Saucy Walker was produced in 1952, a toddler Saucy Walker doll in 1953, and there was an African American version too. In 1954, Saucy Walker's big sister was born and she was 25 inches tall. In 1955, Saucy got a makeover and was sold with a vinyl head, and in 1960 she was produced in complete vinyl in a 28-inch size. Saucy also had an extended family member too, named Posy, who was made from 1954 to 1956. She was also a hard plastic doll similar to the Saucy Walker dolls, but Posy had bendable knees. The earliest doll had a hard plastic head with flirty sleepy eyes, and the later versions had a vinyl head and non-flirty eyes with rooted hair. So this is what came with my Saucy Walker doll. I actually purchased this dolly from the same collector as my Kissy doll. Now, I don't know whether this originally came with my Saucy doll, but she does have sarin hair, and here's the little curlers that I mentioned before that you could set her hair. Isn't that gorgeous? So they say to just moisten the hair lightly with water, comb hair carefully, and set with fingers or curlers. But I just think that's so adorable. And then I'll just do a more details of Scarlet, my Saucy Walker. This dress I don't believe is original. I thought I saw something, I don't know whether it came with the doll or whether it's written inside. I think it was made by a lady in New Zealand, this dress. I did the ribbons in her hair because she often wore this hairstyle. I actually had to do some repair work to her wig. Somebody had used some glue, which was very, very naughty. So I did some repair work to remove that glue, and I hand sewed the hair back into, I guess you'd call it the wig cap. So this is a really sweet little dress and shoe. There's her marking on the back here. Here's her marking on her back. And here is the crying mechanism that I was talking about before. Now, although the dolls had this, it didn't mean that they came with a crier. They were just manufactured that way. We hope you really enjoyed the history section of this video. We're now going to move on to some really fun dolly role play.
Oh, I know I shouldn't be going in here, but the dollies in here are probably very lonely. I'll just come in here and say hello to them. Hi, dollies. How are you today?
Here. Hey. Hey.
Wow, look at all the pretty stuff on the little human's dressing table. Oh, I might just take a quick peek, just for a little bit. Yes, just in here. I'll take the lid off this. Oh, look at that pretty silver locket. I want to put that on, yes. Just for a minute or two. I'll put it back, I promise. Oh, that is so pretty. I love that locket. Oh, I wish I could have this locket. It's so nice. What do you think, dollies? Do you like the locket on me? Do you think it looks pretty?
Oh, yes, Poppy, it looks lovely on you.
Oh, I think I can hear Scarlet calling for us to go back to the nursery. I better go now. Oh, it's very high up here. Oh, I'm a bit scared. Oh, I might need to just sit for a bit. Dollies and toys, we all need to start tidying up the things we have been playing with and assume our positions in the nursery. In about 20 minutes, the Hermans will return home. Quick! Don't dilly-dally. Tabitha, I want you to do a head count and check to see that we are all accounted for, and make sure you take a look in the backyard for any dollies and teddies. We must all be back in the nursery immediately. Yes, Scarlett, I'll go do that right now. Scarlett, it appears we have one missing from our head count.
What? One? But there's only 10 minutes before the humans arrive home. Let me check with the realistic dollies next door if they have somebody missing.
Is there anyone missing from here? No, Scarlett, we're all accounted for.
What about you, porcelain dollies? Anyone missing?
Not from our area.
Weebons, have you checked your head count?
All accounted for.
Teddies and toys, do you have anyone missing?
No, we don't.
Then who is missing? I can't understand it. It makes no sense.
I saw Poppy leave the nursery a while ago. Has she returned yet?
Oh dear, I better do a head count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, including me, 10. Oh no!
Oh no, Poppy is missing. Tabitha, did you see her in the backyard?
No, I didn't, and I checked the yard thoroughly.
Where has that girl got to? Oh dear, the humans are going to arrive home in the next 5 minutes. We don't have much time left. Put your thinking caps on, dollies and toys. Where on earth could Poppy be?
Remember Poppy got into trouble a few weeks ago for going into the little human's bedroom. Remember she went to play in there with the dolls and toys. She could be in there again.
Oh, that's right. I'll go and check. Everyone finish tidying up and assuming positions. I'll be back shortly. Poppy, get down from there immediately. Why are you up there? You know this room's off bounds. It's too risky being here.
Oh, hi, Scarlett. I'm sorry. I was just worried about the dolls and the toys in here being lonely, so I thought I would come in here to cheer them up.
So why are you on the dresser? And what is around your neck?
Isn't it lovely? It's the little human's locket.
You naughty dolly, you mustn't touch the human's belongings. Get down from there right now.
I can't. That's the problem. I got up here fine, but I can't seem to get myself back down.
You silly girl, always getting yourself in tricky situations. If you weren't such a sweet dolly, you'd be in a lot of trouble. Wait there and I will help you down. Now you will need to take that locket off right now and I will help you down. Quick, we don't have long now. The humans will be returning home very, very shortly.
That's the other problem. The clasp is stuck and I can't get it off.
Oh, you silly, silly girl. Come here and I'll try and get it off.
Quick, the humans are home. The car's pulled up in the driveway.
There's no time to remove the locket. Quick, let's get back to the nursery. We will need to figure out a plan later on to return the locket. Quick, hurry.
I must look at changing these vintage dollies into some new outfits for the next season. I wonder what's this? That's Totty's locket. Oh, she must have been playing with Poppy and put the locket on her and forgot all about it. Oh, what a relief. The locket has finally been found. I'll take it off and I'll return it in her room. She'll be so happy when she gets home from school and she'll discover that the locket's been found. Oh, what a relief. Oh, I knew it would turn up. That's great. Ah, dear.
That was a very close call, Poppy. I hope you've learnt your lesson.
Oh, I'm sorry, Scarlett. I shouldn't have gone into the little human's room and played with her stuff. Thank you for saving me. I love you, Scarlett.
We really appreciate you being here today and hope you enjoyed seeing some of our vintage dolls. If you did, please remember to give this video a thumbs up because it really helps us out. We look forward to seeing you soon for part 3, our final part of the Toodles and Vintage Doll series. We also want to thank all our loyal viewers who've been watching our videos and leaving beautiful comments, and to all our new subscribers to our channel. Both Totty and I really enjoy reading your comments and we appreciate your support. Blessings to all our dear Dolly friends wherever you are in the world. We love you and look forward to you joining us in our next video. And if we don't see you during the week, we'll see you all next Sunday. Bye until then. Bye everyone. Bye.